What's going on, guys? Anfernee here, and in this video I want to talk about some of the most profitable business ideas of 2021. Now, these businesses aren't anything new, of course. These businesses are probably something you heard in the past, but the way I'm going to be framing these particular businesses in this video will give you guys a better understanding on how you can start them for yourself and get a share in that profit that a lot of these entrepreneurs are making. But before we get into the video, do me a favor and smash that like button for your boy, as it really does help the channel out. And also look in the description below, where if you use the public link and sign up, you will get a free fractional share of a stock of your choosing. So far, the average ranges from about $10 to sometimes up to $70 just for signing up, and that's a good way to get some free money. However, let's go into these profitable business ideas. Now, when you first think of a profitable business, especially as a small business owner, if you're just starting out, you want to find out what most people spend their money on. And historically, most people spend their money on three things. They spend it on housing, they spend it on food, and they spend it on transportation. So if you're someone who's trying to get started on their entrepreneurial journey, you got to think to yourself, how can I embed myself into one of these categories, into either housing, into either transportation, or into food? So when I was thinking of that for myself, that's when I did the research for this video, and I pulled together about 7 different businesses that are extremely profitable that you can start today with not a lot of money up front. So the very first business I'm going to talk about has everything to do with that transportation sector of your budget. A lot of people have to budget for transportation expenses, and at the end of the day, it's like a sunk cost that they're going to pay someone, and if they don't have a lot of loyalty to who they're going to, you can embed yourself into being that person. So that first business is actually going to be an auto repair business. This is by doing things like oil changes, tire alignment, overall repairing things on a car that keeps it running smoothly. Now, this won't necessarily be repairing bumpers or replacing engines or anything that requires a lot of heavy machinery, but you're going to be starting this business on the foundation that you can do things that pretty much any handyman can do, but you're going to be providing it at a convenience to people so they don't have to do it themselves. Now, you may be thinking, whenever I drive on any main road, I see 8,000 oil change spots. How am I going to get myself into that market? Well, the simple and somewhat slimy way to do this is by undercutting the market. If you notice your local oil change place charges $40 for an oil change, charge your neighbor $30 and do a great job. I mean, you got to provide some extremely quality service so that they can come back to you. And once you do this oil change 2 or 3 times for your neighbor, then your neighbor may tell their friends to come to you instead of paying that $40, and then you start to get more business in the way of referrals. But don't forget that when you do get more customers, you still need to provide the same quality. You still need to provide the same value as if that person was going to that same big name retailer, but at your small business. And once you start to do this, and once you start to get more referrals, you can then build your business model up and start to scale it by hiring employees and getting more people to work for you, even by buying a business office or doing something that helps your business become overall more efficient. And the great thing about this business and a lot of the other business I'm going to talk about is that it all starts with one person, and it all starts by providing extreme value. I'm not going to tell you to do anything that scams anyone out of money. What I'm going to be trying to do and trying to get you guys to do is provide value and then get monetarily compensated for the value that you provide. But okay, I understand that there is a learning curve to this business. You have to know about cars. You have to know how to do an oil change. You have to know how to change a tire. Let's say you don't know and you don't want to know how to learn all these things. Well, you can still take a little chunk out of somebody's transportation expenses on a monthly basis by doing this second business, which is car wash services. Now, if you watch some of my older videos, you may know that I did a challenge where I tried to get to $1,000 starting with a single penny. And around the middle of that challenge, I was doing car washes because it was such an easy business model to do. Most of the time, people don't keep their car washed on a weekly or even monthly basis. And if they are going to the car wash like I do, it may not be all that regular. So how to get started with a car wash business model is by going and knocking on people's doors with your supplies in hand and asking them if they want a car wash. This business model is great because you are bringing your service to them. They don't have to travel. They don't even have to leave their home in order for you to get their business. All they have to do is say yes. And from my experience, most people will say no. Out of 10 doors that you knock on, you may be lucky to get 2 people to say yes. But if you charge those 2 people $20, that can be $40 for an hour of your work. And at the same time, the supplies to get started in this business model are also really inexpensive. All you really need is a bucket, some soap, and access to some clean water, and then you can get started washing cars today. This and mowing lawns were by far one of my favorite ways to make a little bit of money as a teenager, because I knew that if I did a good job once and I came back 2 weeks later, then that person would be likely to say yes to my services again. That's why I want to preach providing extreme value with your services. You don't want to cut corners with this type of stuff, because especially as you're getting started, people will be more likely to not trust you and more likely to not use you again or help you out again if you don't do a good job in the first place. So you need to be trying to go above and beyond and doing as best as you can in all of these different businesses. But to quickly move on to the third business, and something I have also tried myself, I haven't done auto repair, but I have done car wash in this one, and this is actually electronics repair. Now, electronics repair is a pretty lucrative business model, especially if you live in a densely populated area with a lot of young people or even a lot of older people at times. Because most of the time when someone cracks a screen on their phone, they don't see it as an urgent thing that they need to get fixed immediately, especially if they have to ship their phone back to Apple or go to some expensive repair shop. If you have some friends that have broken phones and you can tell them you can fix their phone for $10 or $20 less than what the big person can, then once again you'll start to get business by word of mouth. Word of mouth is probably one of the biggest revenue streams you can count on as a young entrepreneur, because people would be more likely to go to somebody that's established than someone that they don't know if they will or if they won't do a great job. However, if someone that they already trust tells them that you have done a good job with them and you probably would do a good job with you as well, then that person will be more likely to give you their money. And also with a lot of these businesses, getting started repairing electronics is easy. All you need to do is watch 1 or 2 YouTube tutorials, buy some replacement screens on Amazon for about $20 or $30, and then there you go, you have all the tools that you need. Then the next thing you gotta do is get the customers. If the screen costs $30 each and you charge $50 to $60, that can be $20 to $30 each screen. And honestly, you can replace a screen in a little under 10 minutes. You can do these things extremely fast. So by getting your customers lined up and by expanding by word of mouth, you can also train other people to start repairing phones, get employees, and there you go, you have a full-blown business model right from the comfort of your own home. And yes, that is a somewhat small but still a learning curve. If you want to go away from that and do a little bit something more hands-on but not repairing cars, you can actually be a personal trainer and start a really profitable business getting people in shape during this global pandemic. Now at this point in time, a lot of people are staying home. A lot of people aren't really working or being as active as they used to be, myself included. But if you are someone who takes your personal health really seriously and you are someone who can convey your thoughts in a motivational and inspirational manner, then being a personal trainer can be a really lucrative business model, because all you need is a gym and a high work ethic and a high level of energy. Some of the best personal trainers that I have met in my life have an uncapped level of energy. They just ooze energy all the time, and that gets people motivated to work out. So if you're someone who is high energy, you can probably charge upwards of $50 an hour for a workout session to start getting people in shape. This would be great if you have people with a gym membership who don't really know what they're doing all the time and they want a little bit more guidance in a way of going towards a specific goal. Because as a former collegiate athlete, I know that working out to play basketball is different from working out to lose weight, and that's also very different from working out to build muscle or to train for a marathon and different things like this. So if you have a specific goal, whether that's lose weight, put on muscle, or anything like that, but that person doesn't know necessarily how to get there, then being a cheaper personal trainer than the one that's already on the market can open the door to new revenue streams for you. And the great thing about this business model that's different from the other business model is that you can do multiple clients at the exact same time. It's very hard to change more than one's car oil at once. It's very hard to repair more than one electronic device at once or wash more than one car, but you can train 20 to 25 people at the exact same time. And also, if you get big enough, you can record yourself training 25 people, sell that as a DVD, and then get monetized from your previous training session that was already monetized from people training with you live. Personal training is pretty insane, man. Obviously, you have to be in somewhat of a decent shape yourself and be somewhat of an inspiration that people can work towards. But if you have all of the boxes checked off, I don't see why this revenue stream can't be awesome for you. However, let's move on to the fifth and probably the most profitable business idea on this list, and that is by starting a daycare business. Now this business you have to be really careful with, because you have to abide by some laws and you have to get proper documentation and permits and different things like that. And you also have to have a good reputation. There are a lot of off-screen or behind the door activities that go on with starting a daycare business. But if you have everything taken care of, starting a daycare can be really profitable. And this global pandemic that we're currently in has only boosted that demand. If you take where I live in the state of Alabama, for example, most of the daycare centers are either shut down or completely full with a waiting list, and they charge upwards of $1,500 per month. And that's what parents would be willing to pay if they could get their child in, but there's no room. So once again, let's say you're someone who has done all of the proper permits and all the proper documentations to start a daycare, and you charge only $1,000 per kid per month. Because there is a large waiting list in most areas, you probably will not have a hard time getting at least 5 kids in your daycare, assuming that it's legit, and that could be $5,000 in revenue per month. Now, obviously, you have to account for some expenses like food, equipment necessary to take care of kids, and also maybe a few employees, but you can only imagine how easy this is to scale. If you get 10 kids, that's $10,000 a month. That's more than enough to hire 1 or 2 extra hands to help you out, plus reinvest into your business, maybe into an office, business in order to make the experience more enjoyable for the kids and for you and even for the parents. And also the cap on this is pretty much limitless. The only problem you may have with this eventually is that you have too many kids per teacher and you have to stop accepting kids in the future. However, I would rather have the problem of having too much business and having to turn people away than not having enough business and having to beg people to come and spend money with me. But with that being said, I don't want to make this video too long. Those were the top 5 most profitable business ideas of 2021. If you like this video, don't forget to smash the like button for your boy, as it really does help the channel out. And don't forget to look in the description below to use that public link where if you sign up, you will get a free fractional share of a stock of your choosing. That's all I have for you today, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.